Mickey Sunshine. My name's Chris. I play drums.
I'm Andrea. I'm on vocals and rhythm guitar.
I'm Skylar, and I shred the guitar.
With Shelby Len on bass, who could not be here today.
What's the origin story of Mickey Sunshine?
Yeah, I kind of just got depressed during the pandemic. Started taking guitar lessons, started writing. I had a guitar teacher tell me that my songs were really interesting and he encouraged me to play in front of people, which was like nothing I've ever done before. I met Chris at the Burr Oak. I was bartending. He wasn't sure if I was like flirting or like, making some sort of like business connection. I guess I was doing both. And Skylar also worked with me at the Burr Oak. And then Shelby kind of just walked into our house one day and was like, I'm your bassist. And we were like, cool.
The question everybody wants to know.
Yeah, so not by design. The name came before we kind of started getting in the Mickey's scene. It really quickly and really naturally turned into like, Mickey's Tavern, Mickey Sunshine.
The Mickey name too comes from my mother almost named me Micaela, and my nickname would have been Mickey. And then some old man one time asked me what my soul's name was, and I was like, Mickey. I think there's just a little bit of Mickey inside of me, probably because I was given so much propaganda by ABC News.
By the
Mickey Sunshine.
They call it Mauschwitz. Angus Young from AC/DC is my idol, I would say. And also, I work at a music venue too, so I do sound every day. So I'm just all the bands inspire me, and I'm always grabbing stuff from other people and trying to emulate.
Liz Phair's Exile in Guyville album from 94 changed my entire life. She just says really grotesque things in a very sweet way that I find so endearing. The obvious inspiration, Hole, big Courtney Love fan. Yeah, I think Melissa Oftamar, the bassist of Hole, and also has her own band that's incredible. She wrote recently I'm not gonna let the death of Kurt Cobain overshadow the women he left behind.
Put Courtney and Hole in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's our plea to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Put her in there.
Some of my inspirations, the first rock drummer I started listening to was Bunny Carlos, the drummer for Cheap Trick. Really big influence. The Foo Fighters, R.I.P. Taylor Hawkins. I also like a bunch of weird, random music. I like a lot of instrumental jazz stuff, contemporary jazz, like the Bad Plus, where their drummer is sort of a rock drummer masquerading as a jazz drummer.
Chris is traditionally a jazz drummer, so your music taste does spread very wide.
I like a reggae drummer too.
Yeah, I mean, I also love hip hop, so studying producers like Jay Dilla or rappers like Busta Rhymes and their kind of way of moving around the rhythm with their lyrics is really, really cool to me.
I'm from Detroit originally, and so Prada Leary is someone in the scene in Detroit who I admire, and his mother was in the Ronettes, I believe. And so my old drummer, my friend Joe Biglin, he was more involved in the Detroit scene. So to me it's obvious. I feel a lot of the same emotions that come through in rap a lot, and so having him on that song was very cool.
So Prada Leary, if you're out there, we're trying to get you back live.
And then also Joe made this incredible music video for Schoolgirl Clothes too. Which Prada and I went into this Detroit bookstore. I go back to Detroit often to like see my family, and then I always make it a point to like see my friends, make sure like I'm staying connected to the scene there.
Loud and sexy. Those were the first two we came up with. And then
I was gonna say fun, and then he started saying gritty or
dark.
Long, hard cock rock.
Long, hard cock rock. The first batch of songs was mostly just written by her, just straight off the top, no formal songwriting training or anything. Now that the band's membership is like solidified, now we've got like a really good core team. So the new stuff that we're working on, we've got maybe a rough skeleton of a song, and then Skylar can add something really cool that only Skylar could add.
Right.
Or Shelby wrote an incredible sort of like bass solo and interlude for one of our songs that's coming out in a few months here.
And then we kind of like get to a point where like, okay, we're ready to record this one.
Yeah.
And then like if we can't make a decision on a thing, like Logan has helped us from Disc, who he helped produce the first 3 songs. And then Cam will help.
Cam did really good.
Cam also
They
helped.
both did really great.
Cam is Cam Frank from Detroit. He's a mixing engineer, recording engineer, producer, does a lot of really cool work. We were kind of like shocked and surprised where people are like singing lyrics to Best Dad like back at us. And so it was really nice to finally release Best Dad, and hopefully for like our fans too, it was like now you can listen to it whenever you want to. But they also helped us get it to the point where it was able to be recorded. So shout out to the Mickey Sunshine super fans out there.
So part 2 is about to be released.
It's all done.
All done.
Just got the masters back.
Got the masters back. Got the video from Big Dog out.
We're gonna continue to release these short EPs, 3-song EPs, maybe a 4-song EP, but we're gonna eventually release the whole collection as like an LP or a full album, which we'd like to get pressed to vinyl.
So it's like the Mickey Sellout. Basically just Mickey Sellout is gonna be like the vinyl. But Mickey Sellout part 1, part 2, part 3. I came to ruffle some feathers.
As the video for Rock God
Yeah.
does.
I was really angry, and perhaps still am very angry. And this is a healthy way to express that. Being just like a femme presenting person who's like acts in specific ways. I've gotten a lot of like slut shaming in my life, and so it finally feels like good to be able to like throw it back in people's faces in like a way where it's like, yeah, your words, like that's how I'm gonna give it right back to you, like it's also very powerful, as a person to like just say those things, like I watched Chris sing all of our words at a practice once because I lost my voice, and like watching a man sing those same words, like, but I also had this awareness of like, oh, he can't say those things or he will be canceled. Like and so it's like this certain, I like that, like I like that I can say those things as a person in my body of how I am and just be like, guess what, I'm saying this thing and you can't do anything about it. Also, it's like, you've made me feel this way my entire life, so F off, I wanted to be an investigative reporter and producer and work for 60 Minutes, and I got pretty far, and then I just really saw what the world was like. I was like, well, I know what the world thinks of me, which is I think the world hates women, and I can't help it. I'm just gonna enjoy my life now. Because journalism does keep you silent like that, like I have like my body's on the line, and like, women can't get abortions like equally in like every state, like or people generally, like it's because I was like silenced for a certain period of my life where I was working in journalism and like I wanted to wear a pink pussy hat on the street the moment Trump won and to like have both my middle fingers up, but I'm sitting next to Olivia Nuzzi, who's the most jaded person in Washington, and like thinking about how I wish I could be in a street and not working for CNN. I was sick for a period of time too, so like right after I worked for CNN, I had an addiction problem, and then I almost got a liver transplant. So it was like a lot, and that's when Me Too was really thriving, and I wanted to be part of these things, and I just like truly couldn't be. Yeah, it's nice to use my voice and like say things, and at the very least, it's fun for me. Like, I don't really care.
And now we actually like do get to actively give back. Like last year, we had a birthday show where we raised some money for abortion access funds. So even though it's like smaller in our community, it does feel good to be able to like throw an event, have people come, and have people like support things that like need to be supported.
I don't think we write songs just for the sake of writing songs, and I feel like a lot of bands do that, and we definitely have like a purpose and a direction.
That one was just like a bunch of fuckboys making me feel like a projection, and then this like sense of like I'll leave you before I'm left, because you're trying to take some sort of power. So even these like dynamics, like do show up in like small ways in your romanticism too. So I do try to say that in Road or express some sort of like, I'm not your dream girl. Stop looking at me like that, like don't do that, I'm just like a person, like I'm just a person.
That's like I think a lesson for anybody in any type of relationship is like don't treat someone like your perfect person. You gotta treat them as the human they are.
Sex sells.
And you're the one who's buying.
And I'm the one who's buying.
Shit sucks if you're a normal person. Like everyone's kind of going through it, whether it's like a personal relationship,
yes,
whether it's the economy getting you down because being like a working class or just regular person, everything is stacked against you. So sort of all these dynamics of like equality for like women in the music industry, more equality in the world for like your bartenders, or anyone working a service industry job, like just kind of like.
And these are like real things that surround reproductive justice. Like when you're thinking about having a child, do I have enough money to bring back home? What school district are they going to go to? Are they going to have like health care? So just being a working class person and not having access to things is like a real problem. So I think just exploring the shit sucksness in the society.
I think sonically the next EP is definitely a lot more gritty. We went down to Detroit and we were trying to get the energy of Detroit. We recorded in this abandoned airplane factory that's repurposed into like a bunch of artist spaces. And
if you thought this was hard, you're not ready for part 2.
So the place you're not going to want to miss us is going to be our show on June 16th at the High Noon Saloon. We're playing with this great band from Milwaukee called Scam Likely. We're also playing with some local favorites, Jane Hobson and her bands, and Combat Naps.
Love. This rock god's coming for ya.